Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon the Master of Martyrs and peace be upon you adorers. Welcome to Shia Waves. I'm your anchor Ali Jassim here to present and replenish your minds with the latest Shia world news. And now with the headlines. Hajj pilgrims not allowed to take Qur'ans to Masjid al-Haram. Thousands of Bahrainis and Saudis protest killing of Shiite activists. School hijab ban angers Kenya Muslims. Delegations from different parts of the world poured into the headquarters of the Hajj expedition of the eminent Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Hussein al-Shirazi, may Allah prolong his life, in Mecca. Scholars of the expedition, headed by Sayyid Hussein al-Shirazi, may Allah prolong his life, received a number of scholars from different regions, such as the eminent Sheikh Hassan al-Kuwaildi, Sheikh Saeed al-Ibrahim, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Sahati, and many others. Within the Husseini program, the Husseini orator, Sayyid Jassim al-Shabib, delivered a lecture in which he spoke about Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, and the exceptions given by Allah for him, as narrated by the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. Meanwhile, Al-Ghadir Caravan hosted the eminent Sayyid Hussein al-Shirazi, may Allah prolong his life, and a number of scholars from the expedition, where he delivered a speech for the pilgrims asserting the importance of making use of the Hajj season to achieve happiness, which is not a tangible issue. His Eminence reminded the pilgrims of the supplications of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, during the day of Arafah. The Saudi Ministry of Endowments has decided that Hajj pilgrims, while in Masjid al-Haram, can only use Quran copies printed in Saudi Arabia. An official with the ministry said that pilgrims are not allowed to take copies of the Quran into the mosque. He urged the pilgrims to read the copies of the Quran that are printed in Saudi Arabia only, noting that Quran copies other than those printed by King Fahd Printing Complex will be confiscated during the Hajj season. The holy city of Karbala announced its preparation to welcome the pilgrims on the day of Arafah and Eid al-Adha. An official with the Imam Hussein Holy Shrine said that necessary preparations have been made for the arrival of pilgrims. He added that steps have been taken to make sure that the pilgrims will receive the best services during their stay in the holy city. He went on saying that checkpoints have been set up and security cameras have been installed to ensure security in the city. Every year, millions of pilgrims from different parts of Iraq, as well as other countries, pour into the holy city of Karbala on the days of Arafah and Eid al-Adha. ISI al-Takfiri terrorists have been expelled out of the shrine of Hujr ibn Uday al-Kindi, the dignified companion of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his progeny, in the town of Adra. The Syrian army had regained full control of the town of Adra following fierce clashes with foreign-backed Takfiri terrorists. Last year, ISI terrorists violated the holy shrine and demolished it, as they had made with dozens of shrines of prophets, imams, and their companions in several areas across Iraq and Syria. Hujr ibn Uday was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his progeny. He was sentenced to death by the Umayyad Caliph Muawiyah in the year of 660 for his unwavering support and praise for Imam Ali, peace be upon him. Thousands of people in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain have taken to the streets to condemn the killing of a young Shiite activist by Saudi security forces in the country's restive Qatif region. Saudi protesters staged a rally in the town of Awamiya in Eastern Province to protest the murder of the pro-democracy activist. The Shiite activist died of the wounds sustained while police were trying to arrest him. In Bahrain, people also held rallies against the killing of the young activist. Protesters in the eastern town of Sanad condemned the Saudi crackdown on the anti-government demonstrations in Qatif. Taliban terrorists have executed a Shiite Afghan-Australian man during a trip to Afghanistan last week. According to reports, the 56-year-old Sayyid Habib Musawi was initially tortured and then executed by Taliban's terrorists while he was on his way from southeastern Ghazni province, capital Kabul. Growing up in southern Helmand province of Afghanistan, Musawi immigrated to Australia in 2000 and recently visited Afghanistan to meet with his relatives. Deputy Provincial Governor of Ghazni said that Musawi was brutally tortured and executed by Taliban terrorists. It is to mention that in the same week, Taliban terrorists killed around 100 civilians in Ghazni province and slaughtered 15 relatives of policemen following an attack. A ruling by a Kenyan court to ban hijab in a school has outraged Muslim parents and scholars, who deemed the ruling a setback for the freedom of the worship in the Eastern African country. The ban came in response to a request by the Methodist Church of Kenya, which claims to be the school's sponsor, to stop allowing Muslim students to wear hijab in the school. Since last term, the school, which 80% of its students are Muslims, has been hit by several student protests over the hijab ban decision. There are nearly 10 million Muslims in Kenya, which has a population of 36 million. We have reached the end of our news show. Thank you all for joining in with us, and as always, remember our dua to hasten the reappearance of our beloved Imam al-Mahdi, peace be upon him. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.